Munger was the longtime number 2 to Warren Buffett at Berkshire Hathaway. Together, they formed the most successful investing duo of all time. Buffett said Berkshire was built according to Charlie's blueprint: buy great businesses, run by strong managers, at reasonable prices. Then let the money pile up, sit on your ass, wait for another great business to come along, and then buy that one too.
Put that coffee down.
Creators are leaders. Be careful what kind of leaders you're producing here.
Helen, we're both in sales. Let me tell you why I suck as a salesman.
They realized that to be in power, you didn't need guns or money or even numbers. You just needed the will to do what the other guy wouldn't.
I'm not leaving. The show goes on.
Well, hello there, friend. Welcome back to the Construction Leadership Podcast. I am your host, Bradley Hartman. Today's episode is titled 3 Great Quotes from My Mentor, Charlie Munger. Charlie dropped out of the University of Michigan to serve in World War II and was immediately shipped to the California Institute of Technology. Munger was later admitted to Harvard Business School, selling his way past the obvious defect of never graduating college. He lost an eye due to a surgeon's ineptitude, but opted not to sue the doctor, noting that complications were expected in 5% of such procedures. Charlie was a multi-billionaire who lived in the same home for the last 61 years. He was the thoughtful contrarian, sharing insights generously with a sense of humor. "All I want to know is where I'll die," Charlie said often, "so I'll never go there." Charlie Munger passed away on November 28th at the age of 99. Smart, funny, and effusive, Charlie largely hid these aspects of his personality to allow the public spotlight to shine brightest on his business partner and best friend. Munger was the longtime number 2 to Warren Buffett at Berkshire Hathaway. Together, they formed the most successful investing duo of all time. Buffett said Berkshire was built according to Charlie's blueprint: buy great businesses, run by strong managers, at reasonable prices. Then let the money pile up, sit on your ass, wait for another great business to come along, and then buy that one too. Charlie Munger became a mentor of mine in 2011. He changed my life. He was the first business leader I was introduced to who masterfully simplified business complexity with common sense and candor. At Berkshire's annual meeting in 2000, Warren Buffett was asked about the rise of market consolidation and the associated risks of mergers and acquisitions. Buffett answered with a lengthy, nuanced response that lasted more than 5 minutes. The moderator then turned to Munger. He needed only 9 words. "If you mix raisins with turds, they're still turds." And here, for you, are 3 slightly more lengthy, yet insightful and memorable quotes from Mr. Charlie Munger. 1. It is remarkable how much long-term advantage people like us have gotten by trying to be consistently not stupid, instead of trying to be very intelligent. There must be some wisdom in the folk saying, "It's the strong swimmers who drown." A core principle Munger preached was inversion. Invert, always invert, he'd say. Always flip the situation on its head and first determine the outcomes you wish to avoid. Eliminating stupid mistakes is easier than trying to execute brilliance. More than 50 years ago, Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett inverted their partnership's aspirations. They determined what they didn't want. Number 1, they didn't want a poor reputation in the market. Number 2, they didn't want to waste time overthinking. And number 3, they never wanted to be over-leveraged and cash-strapped. Trust development, then, became the day-to-day primary objective of the firm, followed by consistently making quick go or no-go decisions and always maintaining large amounts of cash on hand, ready to deploy when great opportunities appeared. This timeless recipe, built on the concept of inversion, made Berkshire attractive partners and billions of dollars in profits over the years. Charlie Munger's second memorable quote is, "Every time you see the word EBITDA, you should substitute it with BS earnings." This quote contains so much about the man: his pathological candor, his passion for profits, and his understanding of human nature. Munger railed against EBITDA, that is, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, because it concealed more than it revealed. Financial accounting, sufficiently rife with legal methods towards monkey math, to say nothing of the less than legal methods, hardly needed more complexity to communicate the health of an organization. After all, interest and taxes are very real expenses, and they are paid in the current year. Depreciation schedules, these also dictate future expenses. Why are we omitting these? Munger demanded to know. Focus on the fundamentals. Don't overcomplicate it. Revenue, net profitability, free cash flow, customer retention, new business generation, verifiable competitive advantages. Focus on those, Munger pleaded. Charlie Munger was one of the few leaders to challenge the use of EBITDA. Heaven forbid he heard one of his operators cite adjusted EBITDA, which I won't even get into. And Charlie wasn't afraid of being temporarily unpopular, a condition many leaders fear more than anything. Executives who use EBITDA aren't bad people, Munger would say. They're just blindly following the herd. Munger implored me toward multidisciplinary thinking, especially the domains that investigated human behavior, like the herd mentality, psychology, philosophy, behavioral economics. Munger knew that long-term investing success and happiness in general hinged on these three subjects at least as much as finance, if not more. And Charlie's third quote is a short one. I have nothing further to add. Far more common than one-liners about feces and fruit, Munger was famous for following Buffett's monologues with this gruff mantra. I have nothing further to add. Munger was the rare genius, hell, the rare individual with restraint. Content to stand in the shadows, always a partner, never in competition with Buffett. And for you, my friend, I will challenge you this week. I will challenge you to use the line, I have nothing further to add, at least once in a meeting this week. And I hope you find it easier than I have to say. Why? Why is it so hard? Why is it so rare? I have nothing further to add. Well, speaking for myself, it's because I know I want to make a point. I want to contribute. I want to look smart. And Munger knew these inclinations were hardwired into the human mind. Not easy to overcome, but possible to develop. Munger modeled the behavior dozens of times at every annual meeting. Shortly before his death, Munger said, I constantly see people rise in life who are not the smartest, sometimes not even the most diligent, but they are learning machines. They go to bed every night a little wiser than they were when they got up. And boy, does that help, particularly when you have a long run ahead of you. He didn't say this to me, though. Charlie Munger had no idea who I was. I never met the man. I never saw him speak live. Charlie Munger's impact arrived in the form of books, interviews, and stories from people that met with him. And feel free to roll your eyes here. It is warranted, I know, but Berkshire Hathaway's annual reports qualify as entertaining and insightful reading. Seriously, Google Berkshire Hathaway's annual reports. You will see their website. Looks like it's straight out of 2001, and you can click to download a random year, and you can see what I mean. Without a doubt, I'm a little bit wiser because of Charlie. And for further exploration of Charlie Munger, I'd highly recommend the following during this season of giving. The first is a book. It's titled Poor Charlie's Almanac. It is the greatest coffee table business book ever. Cheaper paperback versions are available, but I would buy the $75 version. I promise you, you will never regret spending the additional $50. And this is a legit coffee table business book. It is heavy. It probably weighs 9 pounds. The second one is a book as well. It's smaller, it's shorter, it's cheaper. It's called The Tao of Charlie Munger. In this short book, A legendary Munger quote is followed by a couple hundred words of context. It's an easy read with insights on every page. And number 3 is a podcast episode from the Invest Like the Best podcast. It's episode number 355, and it was released on December 5th, 2023. It is one of the last interviews Charlie Munger recorded, and it was hosted by John Collison, founder of Stripe, the huge payments software company. Well, my friend, my hope is that you too have a long run ahead of you. And I hope these Munger-isms can help you in some small way live a happier 2024 and beyond. Thank you for listening. We will close out with our leadership mantra. You, my friend, are owed nothing. Deliver value first.